How's it going, everybody? Good to see you all here. Mond is with us. It's just that she's just getting some stuff ready to go, so we'll be hearing Mond in just a moment. But we're gonna have tonight is we're going to have a real-time art. Some real-time art will be on stream during our Sandwich Show collab tonight, so it should be pretty cool. Like we've seen Mond do this on her channel in the past. In fact, just to remind everybody a little bit about who Mond is, here's the command in chat for you. And Mond has got some really cool creations and has designed all sorts of cool creatures. We're gonna see one of the creations tonight in real time, so it should be really fun to share this together. And then in addition, I'll be sharing a sandwich of the week. So altogether, pretty good things here. I have we have some mini golf we'll be playing later in the evening. And that's coming after our spot with Mond. So we'll have it all on the same stream. So after our interview slash art creating, we'll segue over to golf with your friends within the stream. So we'll just do a quick BRB and then head on over to golf gameplay as we do every week. So a couple of things I wanted to mention. I don't think I've updated Streamlabs yet with all this, but we have two new I did update Streamlabs with Pinball. Pinball's coming to join us in studio next week. As to what we're doing, we'll have our Q&A, but we're going to have some other things as well. It should be really interesting. And then we have another guest that we just booked for a while from now. We have in May. I've also been getting some requests about Borkfest, and my answer to the question is I don't know yet, but it's feeling like we're going to postpone it just a couple months because that way it's not so busy. I have some trips coming up, so we're going to still do it, but I just haven't figured out the date yet. So I think it would help if any of you do want to be on Borkfest and you have a week that sounds really good for you, please let me know, because that will help me schedule it and make sure we can get a date that will work for everybody. So I think that's what I'm going to plan out. So yeah, that's what we have. That's the latest. Yeah, but I'm still working on getting additional guests, but we have a really good run of guests coming up. So we have an awesome guest booked in late May. We have two awesome guests booked right now, and now I've just got to work on getting the guests in the middle, and we will, because I think I've got a lot of ideas for definitely got a lot of ideas for guests here on the Sandwich Show, so it's pretty cool. Welcome in everybody in chat. Hope you're doing well out there. I mean, it's nice to have you all back. I can see things have warmed up considerably out there, and interesting stuff all the way around. Welcome back, Mond. It's good to see you back. Just a second, Mond. We'll get back on headphones.
Working on it.
Oh, there we go.
Trying to
Okay.
Having some serious object experiments issues. So, I was still trying to figure out where it went. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind if I can't find it. I'm just gonna. It's somewhere in this room. I swear. I put it down. It's crazy because I put it down next to my desk, on my desk, to like the left of me or the right of me, and it just gone, it's just gone.
It happens though. Like you'll put something down and then you won't see it again for a while.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, all right. I'm pretty much, yeah. We did start streaming just like a minute or two later than we normally do, but
yeah.
We should be fine. We got nothing but time tonight. We'll be here for a while. So, all right. You ready to go? More or less?
I'm good to go. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. I like it. All right, folks, let's do it. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's nice to have you, everybody. Okay. Whew. It's a nice day. It's nice to see the weather looking pretty nice out there. So hello, everybody. Welcome in. This is the Sandwich Show. Nice to have you all back. My name is Davey. It's always good to catch up with all of you. Thanks for hanging out with me over the last few days. We've been in the previous 3 nights. I threw together some pop-up piano streams, and they were really fun. So thanks for jamming with me. It was a great time hanging out with all of you. So now we get back into our series of Sandwich Show Q&A, and joining us this week, we have the return of a brilliant artist, a really good friend of our community. And hey, Rev, it's good to see you. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Let's say hello once again to our friend Mond Smirky. Mond, welcome back to the show. How's it going tonight?
Oh, thank you so much. This is actually probably perfect. It's really humbling. I'm actually excited to be back, to be honest. So.
Oh, absolutely. Glad to do it. I remember we've had you on a couple times before. We had you. I think what was it, like late to like maybe December? I think a couple of years, like maybe December in 2022, if I remember correctly. And then
yeah, it's been a hot minute actually. So.
Yeah, that's probably right. I think you're right about that. So welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. And Rev, good to see you too. Rev's also. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, I mean, I see you've got a new look. I mean, it's pretty chic look, if I may say so myself.
Clean.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Just from my phone. It's clean. It's a lot better. I'm kind of got another one in the works. So
okay.
And for me, I'm excited to actually have this one. It's got some really good features that I actually really enjoy and that we took advantage of, and I'm looking forward to pleasing everyone tonight as well, because we got a big thing feature going. So
yeah, and that's a really exciting. This is a really exciting idea because we can offer all. We'll give you as much time as we can to make this happen in real time. But as you were saying to me before we went on stream, this is something that we see other people on Twitch do. Our friend Carlo, the stream scribe, often is doing art in real time. And so it's pretty cool. And I know that's something you do as well. But yeah. I'm excited to show it to our audience here tonight as well. I mean, you had raised the query of, or people were asking you, how long does it normally take to make a creation from start to end? And before we went on, we saw the palette's clean. So this will be exactly that. But on average, how long do you think such a thing would normally take?
So typically, and I actually let me actually see the deal, and I'll swap over to my screen real quick.
Okay.
So I will actually show one of the pieces that I have done recently for myself. And this is a fairly large piece for me, of what it is, and it's one second, pull it up from here because it's on that list. Basically this piece took about, I would say, like, just for the redoing the line art alone, uh, throw a ballpark about an hour or two to redo all the line art proper, and then the shading alone, it takes about like 5 hours, because I'm not. It's weird because I'm not. I don't do typical normal cell shading and stuff like that, which is basically what a normal person or a normal artist would do.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the piece I'm talking about. As you can tell, there's numerous layers, numerous steps,
right,
to achieve this. And most of the time, there's just layers, groups and layers, just keeps going. So this is actually turn this off. This is the actual layer where the character is actually here. Down here, over here, goes to the flat. That's shading.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how much a significant difference it actually just outright makes.
Yeah.
Versus just having simple.
Wow.
It shows how much time I put in and how much effort I'm willing to put in to make something look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably typically not going to be able to finish the shading, but there was one thing I was working on before I copped on, and it was redoing this. This is Mon's character sheet. This is a little bit easier of like how a character gets developed for me, how a character actually gets made, and the thought process that goes into it. Mon took me about 5 years in total of thought process and idea and trial and error. It takes a while to actually get the idea fleshed out properly.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, I wanted her to be how I looked like in real life, so that she reflects basically the type of style, the type of body, the type of basically it's the exact body that I have in
Mm-hmm.
life. So she reflects it. But time it takes to get to that point, it took me months or hours and just getting it done. Tell like there are sections that I took care of and I cleaned up, but yeah, it's takes a while. This alone, I think this the right side where her back is to show all her spots. That one I think typically took about like I don't know, I believe 5 hours just to get the shading proper. Um, and the cool thing about artists, and I think a lot of people don't realize, is we like to share our knowledge. We like to share each other's ways of doing things
Mm-hmm.
because it might be better for us. Like for me, I found something out that I never really thought I would use. Like I would use a different blender, and then one of my friends' sisters like, hey, you should try. Like this is how I do it. I asked her, well, how do you shake? I was like, well, I use this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, really? So I tried my hand at with a different blender, and this I did this earlier and was messing with it, and actually like it more using that blender than using what I use typically.
Ooh. And so, like, are
So
some of these plugins that you would download from the internet as well, or add-ons to Photoshop, or are these just part
so
of the?
funny. This is Studio Paint. So a lot of the time it's giving gauging the right motive, like gauging it correctly.
Right.
That makes sense. It's all about the feel for you because you can I like all the brushes I use typically are all default brushes. They're all default. They're just normal brushes that were pre-built into stuff. Most brushes that you get or downloaded are customized or tailored for other people that made. So
Gotcha.
that's what kind of gets an idea.
Okay. Oh, hey, Crickster. Good to
Um
see you. Welcome in.
I do know that you've been hankering and you've been staring at it for a while, so why don't we get
Thank you for the
because I'm
segue.
like
Thank you for. I
because I'm
appreciate
I'm
that.
interested in what you have.
Okay.
So
Well, I make art too, but it's a little bit different. It's like art you can eat. So, folks, let's bring it in. It's time once again for the oh for the sandwich of the week, everybody. So let's show
oh
you what he
crap,
got. Oh yeah, I'm very excited.
excited. I'm looking forward to see what you got.
All right, Mon, here it is. Now, this is a handmade. This is a handmade. I mean, a homemade version. Tonight I took some chicken I grilled, some marinated chicken I grilled, and I made and some sourdough bread and some cheese, and I made my first, well, of the year, the first of the year, the first chicken melt of 2024. Well, homemade anyway, but yes. So
Stole my idea. 'Cause that's what I made.
nice, nice, nice.
I want a grilled chicken melt. I'm gonna make one.
You
That's
should
what I also have.
make one
Yeah,
too.
that's what I also
Oh,
have.
you
So
do? Really? Legit?
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Mine's Mexican grilled chicken,
Okay.
and then I added instead of normal sliced cheese, I added nacho cheese on top of it, handmade nacho cheese.
Interesting. That's
So it's
exciting.
nice and
Nice and
it's
spicy.
like I love it.
I love it too.
I love it.
I've added some Thousand Island dressing to this. There were so many choices I could have used for the sauce. Like,
Thousand Island is probably like if it were to me, if I'm like as a California girl, Valley girl, I gotta have that Thousand Island on that sandwich.
I love it.
It
I love
it
it.
just hits different. I don't know why, it just does.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes really great with chicken. It goes really great with
I
chicken.
don't yeah, I know. Like the one of the most wild things I've had from my hometown,
Mhm.
my hometown, and you know it. Uh, and the term when we hear it, so it's Super Fries Del Elsinore.
Oh yeah.
And you know what they add? You know what they add to it, right? What makes it different?
It's the sauce,
Uh,
right?
it's no. What they add is they actually add hot Cheetos and melted nacho cheese sauce on top of it with the super fries. And no, don't knock it till you try it. It's really good. Because back in high school, and that's where it blew up, was my generation of high school.
Mhm.
That's why it got so popular. And why it got so popular is, and I kid you not, you can ask anybody. We, as like the edgy goth kids, made the worst name for all the name of the fucking things. We called it. So when we were in high school, we were really mature, so we didn't care. So we called it, and please don't hate me for it. Demon semen. We called it demon semen.
Wow.
The reason why is because what it was made with.
Mhm.
And that's was the jalapeno nacho cheese with the hot Cheetos and chili if you really wanted to add the extra kick. But yeah, that was the thing. So we call that's and it
Doesn't
stuck. It stuck.
That's amazing. It stuck. Like,
It's crazy because 10 years later, it's still fucking a thing.
wow.
And I just stay like I go to these like, wow, you guys are having some demons. Like, you know the names? Like, bitch, we made it back in my day.
That's funny. Hi, Charlie the
Oh,
Goddess. Thank you
man.
so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate your stream streak. Likewise, Rev. Sounds so good to see you again, everybody. That's
Man,
hilarious. That's hilarious.
It was funny,
Yeah.
and it was funny because I still will make the original recipe till
Mhm.
this day. It's that good because the way we made it, we didn't use normal hot Cheetos.
Mhm.
Because they didn't back like when they were doing their health sponge and during our days they used the quote unquote baked chips, baked Land brand chips.
Mhm.
And what stuck the hardest and why they still have these is because they're called the baked hot Cheetos. If are just for some reason, and I don't know why, they taste better and they taste better with the nacho cheese. They just outright do. It's not as oily. Because maybe because they don't use oil for that one,
Mm.
and it just tastes better. So I was happy. So I'm like, this tastes like. Every time I take a dip, like this tastes like high school. And I can't stop eating it. I don't know why. Man.
I'm gonna have to find a place that makes one of those. Something gonna have to come out your part of your neck of the woods.
You gotta go come out part of the wood,
Yeah.
part of the woods to get that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird because like they have super nachos del El Sonora and then they got super fries del El Sonora. So and every local place like the El Ranchito, they have it.
Okay, so I've
Tacos
been-
like El Sonora. Yeah,
I've been
the
there.
Tacos like El Sonora.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You've also had the tacos like El Sonora as well,
Mm-hmm.
which you can get it, by the way. You can get it from there, and that's where it came from. That's where originally that recipe came from. Was that.
How about that?
And then even the elote out here is different. They don't add like the normal stuff. They add everything else, and then it's like elote I think it's El Sonora or something like that, and they will literally crush like an entire bag in front of you and then pour hot Cheetos on it, crushed up hot Cheetos, and just swirl it in. It's so good.
It's a good spot for a little day, I gotta say.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
And I found out where I'm currently living now. There is still an elote. The guy, it's not the car, but it's the cart. The elote, the elote cart.
There's a cart, or
There's
is it
a cart.
car?
Cart.
Or cart. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the electric
So there's
cars.
a guy.
Classic,
There's
yeah.
a guy that goes around this neighborhood with the elote with the same horn.
Mhm.
Same shit.
Dig
So
it.
good.
All right, folks. We have a point redeem called Pickle Bean. This is a new add to our channel. And Charlie the Goddess has redeemed it. Let's try a pickle jelly bean. Would you like one too, Mond? Like I can give you one as well. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, we'll accept that answer. The hesitation was enough of an answer for me.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Okay, so here it is. So I already had it, so I already know what it tastes like. So let's try it again.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, same pickle taste. Less pickle calories. Actually, it's more pickle calories.
No, thank you. Gross.
Yeah, surprisingly sweet, these pickles. So it's kind of like a mix. It's like a hybrid of the dill and the sweet butter pickle.
Why?
Weird. I know. I mean, if it was just dill, I'd be all about it. If it was just sweet, I'd be all about it. This is like, it would be fun if we did both. Like, okay. But I still like it. It's still pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
Could be worse, Mond.
So.
There are much worse jelly beans out there, as you know.
Did you know they made a jelly bean? Okay, I know you probably don't have this one. Poop.
No, I don't. I'm glad to. I mean, it's like the only one I haven't
Glad
had.
you don't have it because,
Why would somebody
No.
make that? What?
I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't make human flesh.
Okay, we're not gonna go there. We're not gonna.
Hey, look, I gotta be a dark sometime. I gotta represent.
My goodness. Alrighty.
Okay.
But
so let me go make up a new canvas.
yeah, let's go make a new. I'm very excited to see your creation. So tonight we're gonna go hang out with Mond, and she is going to make a new creation tonight from mostly start to mostly finish, because I think we'll go up till 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, which is about an hour and 40 minutes from now. So hopefully that's plenty of time.
Yeah, no, just to get a good sketch in, probably.
Okay.
I do sketch, line art, and then.
Okay. Yeah, and then everybody's welcome to ask questions along the way. If you have any questions about art, about what Mond's making, or if you had any questions about the process or about the software, please ask some questions. And maybe I'll put.
I'm going to change the direction. No.
I'm going to put my camera on here too, just so that everybody can see like a piece. Maybe I'll go over here just so it doesn't. I don't know. Where's the this corner bottom?
You know what? No. Do the color palette. Let's go.
Color palette. Okay.
Color palette.
Okay. Because I feel like you'll be adjusting the other ones a lot during the spot. So.
Oh yeah. So you'll see me use. So to give an idea, like how quickly I can adjust something, it's on is awesome. So you can see the dial. You can see the things just changing back and forth. So.
Ooh, that was great.
Yeah, no.
That took like 3 seconds.
Yeah, so I'm just making sure things are smooth on my end. So, yeah, making sure everything's on the right pencil. Found out one of the things. You'll see my model kind of flip out here and there. That's typical because I'm looking down. So there's not much I can do about it. So, alright. Snag. Something that's easy to pull off, yet fun to do. Let's see what my pure ref has to offer. Cause I got a lot of stuff. You know what I haven't done in a while? I think it's a good start to go with the warm-up phase. Because normally what I do is I would do a warm-up drawing, and then I would actually start a process. This is a good time to actually show off a little bit what I do for warm-ups, and kind of give it the idea of what kind of is expected into these type of things. So for me, if I'm going to do something with a background and
welcome, Raiders! Thanks for joining us tonight. Hold on a second, Mond. Go ahead and get that warm-up drawing ready.
Yeah,
let me welcome our friends. Jillian, it's so good to see you again. I predict the right. I predict the right. Welcome in, friends. So good to have you with us. I'm Davey. I'm a variety streamer based in Los Angeles, and this is our weekly interview This week we have our friend Monster Murky. Now, I understand, Jillian. Modfather and yourself were playing It Takes Two again. How far did you get tonight? How did it go? Hey, Pines, good to see you as well. I don't think we have any mods in the chat at the moment, so let me just go ahead and give you a shout. There's our friend Jillian Hayek's channel, also a musician, and really cool things happening at Jillian's channel, so please give her a friend to follow. But welcome in both Modfathers. It's nice to see it, yeah. I'm actually really curious about how the game's going, because It Takes Two is a really epic game, Bond. Like, it's an amazing...
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen so many people play it. It looks great. It's so fun.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Very, very tense game, too, because it's really... Some of those parts of the game are really challenging. Stuart says epic and long. We got through the chapter! There you go! Pump it up! That's great, Jillian!
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's no easy feat. Yeah.
No, it is not.
Yep. Pine says a really diabolical villain in the game. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah, they're
so many. Did you get to beat the game when you played it, Mondo, or were you just watching it on, like...
For me, there we go. I like this setup. All right. For me, I kind of, I didn't have the game, so I kind of watched it mainly. And with, I gotta say, it was such a good game to just to watch other people play it. Like, there are games that like I wouldn't personally play, but I would love to watch people play in that situation.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Pine says in the end Modfather was just annoying G by trying to kill her. Oh, that tracks. That tracks. Trolling in the game.
All right, so keep the tradition going.
Okay.
And
here's my sandwich, by the way, if anybody wants to see that really quickly. Let me just quickly show this for everyone. So Mon will prepare a warm-up drawing. This is not the official drawing yet. This is my chicken melt I made tonight.
Actually, so I...
This is half the reason we're taking so long to finish. It's so on brand for Stuart. But great to have you here, everybody. Thank you so much. And make sure to follow our friend Mon Smirky tonight. She's a great artist, y'all. Give her a friend to follow. Thank you, Pines. I'm glad you like the sandwich.
The idea that I have is drawing up Yggdrasil, which, if you don't know what the Yggdrasil is, it is Norse mythology, the World Tree. So, just basic shapes, bends, and just basic stuff now, and then we'll start refining a little.
Interesting.
But I figured this would be a good starter.
Yep.
This.
If you're trying to guess can the chat try to guess what this is? Because I'm guessing it's a tree. Is it a tree? Is it a hand? Let's see. Not a tree, not a hand. Okay.
It is a tree.
Oh, it is a tree.
Yeah, I have stated it. It's Yggdrasil.
Oh, you mentioned it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Yggdrasil.
Cool.
Which is the World Tree.
Nice.
So I'm just sketching it out.
Okay.
Trying to get just basic shapes. Just get my hand warmed up.
Yeah, I can see your experience already showing and look how efficiently you're drawing all this.
Yeah. Trees. Cool part about it is trees aren't expected to. They're not that hard, especially if you're trying to do it like the way I'm doing it, which is freehanding it. A lot of people would typically just, start doing basic shapes, stuff like that. When a tree isn't uniform. They aren't in uniform at all. Like, if you look at how they're made, you have the two typical things that you do is a base. They grow up from small, like a normal tree would grow up from small, but the bottom portion right here think of it like this. Think of an hourglass. This
Mm-hmm.
is probably the best thing to think of when you make a tree. Hourglass. So we got this part and then this thing. That's literally what the tree looks like. And that's kind of idea. The roots on the ground are shaped the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Because what the roots in the tree, naturally when they grow, they try to find water. And that's why they go either wherever water is, that's how far it will go to find moisture and water to bring up through the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a lot of water in the ground already, it would have a very shallow root system. But if there's not that much moisture up in the ground, it'll go further down and then find more. So I have a little bit more of a more different shape because that's and funny enough, if you watched Rango and how they said cactuses will turn towards the would actually lean more towards in the direction of water, and that's true. That's with all plants. They will more so lean towards or try to reach as far as they are when they get planted towards water. It's just unique in how nature just does that. It just does it. It just does it all automatically.
Yeah. Hey, Inverlin, welcome in. It's good to see you tonight. Thanks for joining us.
So right now, we are currently just folds, just making sure the tree kind of get its overall shape now. Since I already have most of the stuff here, I can start making the branches more defined and just start branching out a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
kind of defining the tree as it goes.
Yeah.
And then, on my way, I can just kind of shade where my light is. Normally, I'm thinking light to go not up here, but more down this way. So it's kind of shining down on this side. This will
Okay.
actually have less shadow here, so this will actually be shadow. There's some shadow there. That, and over time I'll start fleshing it out, trying to make it a little best as I can, and that's normally for me a sketch phase, and normally how it would work all the time. Um, I normally don't have like there's a quote unquote line art phase.
Mm-hmm.
What I normally do, and I have an extra phase, is called a sketch, because I get really detailed in my sketches, and that's just normal, typical. And then with that, I would go into from a sketch to refinement, and then to line art, then to refinement, then to thick, and then to more, and then details, and then shading. That's the typical route I would go, because sometimes even in a sketch stage, you don't want to get rid of the sketch originally,
Right.
because
Right.
what if you're missing some good stuff on it? Like say I like this how the tree looks now. Well, I don't have to change much. This is how the art design I want to go for, and then yeah, I'll do that. That's why a lot of the time with how I am, it's just typical. For me, it's just normal. So, but with it comes to clients or someone that's commissioned me through that, uh, through whatever means, it's like, hey, I want this in this style and this specific position, and how, and it's like, all right, cool. Then there's restrictions, you know, and that's fine. I have always, I've a lot of the times I work with people all the time, and I think the hardest one was, I think I had a really bad client. And I can tell you about like if I were to give an artist early, especially when they're wanting to get commissions and finally getting to that point where they can get commissions, I think my best advice for someone that's starting anew is you're going to get those few bad apples, and and I have a good example for one. And I, with bad names and bad artists, you kind of keep a mental note or a written note that this person is blacklisted on said things. And artists do have personal blacklists just because of the interaction with them or what they've done, or they paid for the artist art and then they requested a refund right after you paid for the art and the art is finished. And that's just bad. It's just typically bad practice, and typically is the way to get blacklisted. Um, but this case was very unique
Hmm.
and kind of sucked. So basically, I was sick, and they wanted to commission me something specific, very specific. But didn't they told me they give okay when you say artistic freedom, and this is coming from a client side perspective, it means artist has complete artistic freedom for what you want. This is why we kind of say we need very specific details. Be very specific. Give us as much references for us to use when we're making your piece. If you do not give us that detail and you said be creative or artistic or artistic freedom, that means you are handing over the artistic freedom to whatever your artist is doing. It's now in the artist's hands. And if you come back to that person and just say, hey, that's not what I wanted, and I tell, well, that's not what you told me, because I have it stated here that it's logged that you requested artistic freedom. And he got very upset and said, I'm going to send this out. Eventually, he did lose that case because it didn't go through. It went through PayPal claims because it was an invoice. It had PayPal claims and had written invoice in it, and then it went from the PayPal claims to small claims, and I've won via small claims,
Wow.
and he had to pay back. Yeah, and he had to pay the 15%,
Hmm.
which is 15% of the original price that they owed. So
Yeah, I mean, it's just that when I think the thing is that when you decide what is artistic freedom, everybody has different visuals as to how far someone will go with that. So I think the problem when it comes to allowing that for an artist is that you can't, you don't foresee where that's going to go. And some folks just operate under assumptions that it'll go a certain way and it won't. So, like you said, you have to be as specific as you can when it comes to like outlining exactly what you want. I want a ball, you know, like can you
well,
draw me a
what do you
ball?
want in that ball? Yeah, and it was like, what do you
Yeah,
want in
well,
that ball? What do you want this? Because now we have to think in our minds, what does the person want?
right.
If you do not think, I want a ball that has this on it, and it has to be this shaped. It'll be oblong. Say if you want a ball, but it needs to be an oval, and it needs to have this specific design on it. It has to have this.
Absolutely.
The more detail, the better, because now
You need to know
we're
you
our
need to
job.
as much detail as
Go
you
ahead.
can. Absolutely. Like
Yeah, because our job is to please you as the client.
yeah.
It's not our piece, it's your piece. In the end, it's yours, it's not ours.
It would help if I think because you know how like music companies like radio jingle companies give you like samples
Actually,
of what like
yeah.
models of what they can do and you're like you can do
Mm-hmm.
something like this and just sing something different over it. And if they had like some
Okay.
does that exist in art too where you can just have like ideas like you can have like well you
Yeah. So here, let me show you. What it give you let me show you an idea of
okay
when someone asks for something and they give reference. And then I'll show you an idea of what artistic freedom shows.
right
You'll see two different things. Um let's go, and this one's just very recent too. So where did that disappear to? Oh, here it is. Um, here it is. And I am technically an overachiever at points, and a lot of people who did client work with me know that. Like I have tendency to overachieve, and that's not a bad thing at all. Actually, I don't remember what it. Where?
well we don't have to necessarily show it now because that way we won't get in the way
Yeah.
of your drawing so
No, I'm still warming up.
okay
Granted, with me, it's okay. I'm okay with it. Here it is. Yes, it is. So this is when someone gives decent reference, decent detail, and proper needs, and I sit down with the client and ask for this. This is what happens. After the sketch, when he looked at the sketch for the first time, he's like, "Holy shit, this is really good. I love this." That's the impression that you want to have. That's the impression you should give. That's the one thing you want. In the end, he ends like, and then I'm like, okay, these colors are very different and different, weird, and when I finally did the colors after a while, and it's like, yeah, can we change this, and this? I was like, all right, sure. Took me like 5 minutes to change it, and then over time, like you can see how many layers there are.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's the effort I would put in. But the other statement for me, real quick, is to show that the the form of artistic freedom, and when it turns in from artistic freedom to where it's very less refined. Um, Actually, this is one of the best ones. So this was mainly artistic freedom. And what happens with artistic freedom is you get one reference, and there's only one, so you can tell. And this, there are so many layers, but the thing that changes, noticed, art, colors.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, I don't really know what to give this. So I said, all right, cool. I don't know what she wants, but instead, I did two different types, all different types of stuff. So we got the red one, the trans one, and then you got the trans bands, and then white bands, and then trans and the trans bands. So it's got variety. And the clothing was like, I don't know what to do, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll pull something out, and they loved it, and it turned out fantastic. And then you know after a while they came, and this is where it becomes to like art, like creator retention, or per se, where like the individual will return because you made something for them. And returning customers are always my favorite because they know what they want, and they know what they need, like this. And this was the form of overachieve.
Oh nice.
This was a form of overachieve. I have a tendency to overachieve, and there's a bunch of other stuff. This is one of the things that we did. This is one of the things we worked upon.
Hmm.
And he's like, hey, I need this, and this is what it turned into. He's like, yeah, this looks cool. I love it. She printed this out, and it's all in Pantone. So, and it's just because this piece right here, the persona, was completely a gift art, and it's like, hey, can you turn this into a poster, and I'll pay you for it. I was like, all right, bet, and that was the result that we got. Fantastic. I love doing tough stuff like that. And then I would get really in depth onto stuff, and I would go, this is like my latest one, which is this one.
Oh neat. Look at the
So
effect on there. The fire effect.
mm. I actually had a stream. I was doing this on stream, so there's actually a VOD of it, that you guys can go look up, uh, of me doing this. And the person that this is gifted to, from what I understand, they were crying because it was that good. They were so happy because they
Wow.
never really, yeah, they really didn't have. I never really got a piece of their Sona, and then they had this, and
Hmm.
they were just ecstatic. They were so happy, and they loved it. And like I'm kind of, that's the intention. That's what I look at. That's the reaction I enjoy having. Even though it sounds slightly sadistic coming out of context, but when it comes to client and happiness, and if those, as long as those are happy tears, that's all that
Oh absolutely.
matters to me.
Hmm.
So, and that's always important. You know, and I probably one of the more transparent people when it comes to like giving updates, and telling people no is a thing that I've always like. Early on, as an artist, it was hard for telling people no, and the do's and start developing a do's and don'ts. It is hard because you want work, and at that point you don't you it's whatever you can get, you know, stuff like that. And with that, it was tough. It is still kind of hard because you get a backlog of stuff, and realized you really don't want to do it, and you don't feel comfortable doing it. And I had clients where I would just, if I knew I wouldn't want to do it, and or didn't feel comfortable doing it, I wouldn't charge them. Oh, I want 75% of it. No, I'll give them 100% of their money back. because that's just being honest. And I was being forward and honest and transparent with them of like, hey, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Um, or you could normally I would first I would offer say I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't feel comfortable doing this at all. Is there a way we can like change it to something that I feel more comfortable in? And majority of the time, they said yeah, because they already spent money on something and they want something out of it. Um, whether it was something they didn't like or of something that they wanted specifically, and I no longer feel comfortable doing it. That's that's fine. And for me, with being comfortable and then being pressured, because I've seen people, gosh, biggest don't is don't pressure someone. And then I think like the biggest red flag for me nowadays is take your time. I'll pop over here real quick. And when you two say specifically those two words, take your time, that means you did not give them a time frame. So you cannot complain or get angry at them when you specifically said take your time.
Well, again,
So important.
I think you're. I mean, it's again. I think that's when people start
Yeah.
getting presumptuous, right? Because
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
like you're.
Absolutely presumptuous.
It's you have your idea of how much time you think it's going to take, but you can't assume that people know that, and that can be infuriating sometimes when people will not communicate that properly. Just tell
Hey,
them
take your
like
time. Hey, take your time.
give them give 2 weeks. If you can do it in 2 weeks, great. If you need more than 2 weeks, then definitely pursue
Oh
longer than
God,
that.
yeah.
And you can
Oh my
negotiate that,
gosh.
but you should definitely be a ballpark. Like, it's kind of. Can I? You mind if I share a story really quickly? Kind
Sure,
of
go for it.
from this side of the creative space. First of all, being dealer, great to see you. I'd like to thank you for your hydrate command. This is not a long story, Mon, but this is just to say that
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I started booking guests for this show, the Sandwich Show, when it started. This was almost 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
I used to just say, when do you want to do this?" Was a bad approach because I would not get a lot of feedback from that. What I found out is that if you just give people dates, can you make this date? Can you make this date? Like the specific dates. Can you make, March 21st? Can you make May 15th? Can you make June 12th? And just throw these options at them. Make it easy. And suddenly it was like, oh yeah, I could do that day. I can do that day. Oh, I can't do that day. Okay, let's do a day that's like
Because
near that.
it's a solid, yeah, it's a physical thing.
Yeah, yeah.
They can literally just, hey, look at their calendars if they're free. Awesome. Yeah, no, I can make that day.
It makes the world of difference. It's just that but that was a learning moment for me because I didn't really think that way. I was like, well, I thought I wanted to make it as comfortable as possible, but the problem is, if it's too open ended, no one's gonna have any idea what their schedule is gonna be that deep into their calendar. So it's better just.
And then they don't even tell us like that's open ended. I don't know what. They'll get. It's more of it's a form of confusion.
Yeah,
That is, like, a big
1,000%, 1,000%. So like since that
because it
time,
confuses them, it confuses you. It's like I don't
Yeah.
know why I didn't get a message from them.
yeah.
Blah blah blah.
It's like, why haven't I heard
And
from them?
then
And it's like you never set anything up. Like you don't even have a ballpark. So now, when you set up day and time and how many hours or how long it'll be, it really helps. Like it gives people much better idea of what's going to happen and backwards
absolutely.
back my way too. Because like, yeah, I think it's been a very valuable notation in my mind that when you talk about time, you do want to give time. You want to give a time, and I think it helps a lot. So,
if you give a date, yeah, it's like,
yeah,
what are you expecting on this? Give me a date. If it's sooner, then I will tell you, please. If it's like, what's your time frame, stuff like that. It's like, most of the time, if you say take your time, I will take as much time as I need to fucking get it done. But if someone says, hey, I want to do this, like if it's like within the week, then I must request you to do a rush order.
yeah. I think that's the
And
thing. I think
those are
I was just about to
specific
ask that
deadlines.
question. Like, what is a typical How if you were to say what?
Turnover. Like, so you're talking about turnover time?
Yeah, yeah. Like what would be a
A
normal amount of
typical
time?
turnover time for me, if they do not give me a time, if they do give me a time frame, which is typically 2 to 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, if say you do not give me a time frame, you say take your time with it, you're going to the back of the line where people have given me specific dates.
That's a
That's what it
very
is.
interesting.
That's it.
That's a very interesting comment. That's actually, folks out there, make sure you take
That it is
log
what
that
it
down.
is.
Log that down because that's a real. Because you would think, oh well, if I say take your time, well maybe they'll be more comfortable with it. It's actually the opposite. You actually
It's
have no
completely
sense of
opposite.
urgency because if you don't have a deadline, you don't you don't know when.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Give an artist a date. I shit you not. I guarantee you they will take your commission. Give them a date. Because if you do not give them a date, they will either you will be sitting there 6 months to a year to 2 years for your art piece, wondering why didn't I get this art piece? Because you told them to take your time.
I mean you can say take your time, but take your time within a 2 to 3 week period. You know, like
No, just say, and that's like, hey, take your time, but I expect this. I would like a turnover, specifically professionally. I would like a turnover within at least a month or
yeah,
two. And
yeah.
they will get it in a tailored
It's
timely manner,
definitely
and they
an
will
that's a
communicate with you significantly more.
do you have like a when you reach out for commissions I assume you have a site or you have some sort of place
I
where
do.
okay,
Yes, I do.
and so I think that with a lot of places they would just issue typical turnover time is blah 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 like at 2 to 3 weeks.
So, as a person, as an artist, I'm very transparent
Mm-hmm.
on my stuff, and I'll show you. I'm openly. I show people openly. I don't really. I don't care like what people see for
Yeah.
my income. I don't really care because they know how much I'm spending. They know how much I've been given. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not like I'm
um
open to showing it, but it's definitely when it comes to teaching people on like what kind of seeing the receiving side of those things and
right.
receiving side of stuff. This is the side I go to. It's Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty obvious, pretty
Oh
straightforward.
yeah, Kofi's good.
Oh yeah, no. But if I go into my payments and orders,
Oh, we may not want
completely different ballgame.
we may not want to show that because that might be might dox some
Yeah.
people, so I might get out of there. But
No. So these are all usernames. The cool thing about Kofi, right?
mm-hmm.
This is okay. You can show this because I'm only selecting commissions. So
Okay.
people who or like to do these things. The cool part about when you show these things online and stuff,
Yeah.
it shows complete anonymity. That's why I like Kofi.
Okay.
So the only time you will see that stuff is I click through details. But
Okay.
you can see like it says commission completed. I can mark them off as completed.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever you give me, that's what you get. You know, that's why when you go to say if I'm actually wanting to order something, say someone wants to order something on my page, right?
Okay.
You go to commissions. This is what we offer. This is all the stuff that we offer. This is what I offer, right? And this is they give us basically it's like we're giving a portfolio to someone, and what you're getting, what you're wanting. Say someone wants a full Twitch streamer package, which there's tons of stuff. Like you can kind of see it, but everything that says is by commission. You also agree to my TOS. My TOS is super important because it's massive.
Huge.
It is very important to actually have a clear and open TOS. It's easily to accessible, easy to open. A lot of people, if they're not comfortable about it, they're not comfortable. Well, if you're questioning it, there's a little mail button right here. You can message me about it and ask me questions, and I'll answer in a time prompt manner because it pings my phone for someone that's asking a question on my commission wage.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
what is this? What is your turnover times? Or am I able to rush stuff like that? I've done James. I've done quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
I've done my buddy Nitros, and he loves this. He was ecstatic. This looks great. He loved how it turned out. So one of the things he wanted to do is minor edits, but it turned out fantastic.
Cool.
And that's
Yeah.
it. In reality, it's more of like how much are you willing to spend and how much time in what time frame. Like how much are you willing to spend?
Absolutely. Being at a follow up, which is what's a fair turnaround time is the question, and I think we settled on 2 to 3 weeks for most projects. What do you think?
A good proper turnaround time, and depending on, and this is like I said, it has a very specific, but if we're talking about very basic, very straightforward, 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something super complex that actually takes more time, you're expected that turnaround time is going to be greater because now you have to do like 1 to 2 months, and giving that time zone and just how much it would cost.
Yeah, yeah.
And the more costly is, the more of a priority it could be because that's a lot of money someone's throw down for certain things. And I've seen people throw on thousands of dollars for just one piece or for a specific set of stuff. And that's like for to give an idea, like a fursuit in the furry community, they are you see people throwing down $5,000. That isn't a that is not a quick process. That is probably like the person's got to order your fur. That's going to take a week, and the time frame goes around. And you, as an artist, have to know. Like personally, the artist has to know their turnover time. They have to understand it. It's not your responsibility to understand their turnover time. How fast can I do this within a decent amount of time without pressuring myself or hurting myself mentally or draining myself physically?
Yeah, you got to know that. I mean, after an hour of experience doing this kind of thing, and in your case, doing it as part of your living, it's important. You're going to need to know what that is. I guess this is what I'm
it's
saying.
Super important.
It's so important,
And it's just you'll learn over time. It's not like you already know this.
Right, exactly.
It's a thing to learn over time.
I think everybody will figure that out over time, right? It's like,
oh yeah, trial. Yeah, it's all trial and error.
Voiceover artists have the same experience. Like they'll know after about a year or two of doing it, like how long it will take to record a promo for someone or a series of promos.
How much there's actually a funny story I can actually tell you about.
Mm-hmm.
During the time, so Red versus Blue, y'all know who Red versus Blue is, and they brought in the voice actor for Cortana. And this is a very, very skilled voice actor. Very, very skilled. They looked at it because they were expecting a very long session. So they paid her for a very long session. She did it in one take. Perfectly.
Wow.
And they looked at him like, how? Well, fuck. Okay, well, now we got a ton of kills. So they just shoot the shit. They were just throwing funnies around and just laughing her ass. Like, they're just having fun at that point. They just didn't really... They really didn't think of it.
I'm glad they were willing to understand. They were willing to manage the expenditure of that, though, because that's crazy.
That's the unexpected thing.
Yeah.
Like, you have an expectation, and they exceeded your expectation tenfold.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, shit. Okay, now we know. And then now they do for future reference.
Yeah, now you know. It's like, okay, well, we'll pay for this much time since this person is so good at this that they can. And it makes sense. Like when you're really good at,
or hey, we're gonna pay you hourly instead of just prepay.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's funny.
Pay them hourly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The people who are elite at making voiceovers for radio networks, for television networks, for internet networks, for movies, they do promos for things every day. Like they will do. Yeah. I've heard I used to listen to sports radio a lot, and the people these national people would do promos promoting something that just happened, like the day before. Like they would be able to do. They have that ability to do that kind of turnaround. With the internet, you can do that now, but. It's remarkable how efficient people can be at making like these 10-second, 5-second, 30-second announcements. It's pretty cool. Like, and it's obviously with art, it's not going to take that little time. You're going to take a lot longer to do art for obvious reasons.
Graphic design is, but if you're going like the graphic design route, then there's a difference.
That's interesting.
Here's the rule of thumb.
Okay.
I've studied for 10 years. You do this in 10 minutes. That's literally what it is. That's why graphic design artists are at a high price. Is we learn to do this for 10 years to study this learn to do this for 10 years, so I can do it in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. But I love it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So it's something that people don't really see, and
Yeah.
Granted, this tree's coming along pretty nicely.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah. I mean, you've already got like the edges really fleshed out nicely. Like this looks really, really good. Like I like how I really have always liked how much depth there is in all of your art. Like I think it's always something that's always impressive to me. Everybody does it differently, you know. Like some people are kind
oh
of
yeah,
more into
absolutely.
they're more into angles, they're more into lines. That's also kind of my jam too. But the depth is good. I really like depth. The depth is very very. It kind of adds personality to what's there. And you even showed
Oh
it to
yeah,
us
absolutely.
earlier, like just seeing what it looked like when you took it out. Like it still looks pretty cool, but it looks like a comic
Yeah.
book or something. But you put it in, and it's like, ooh, this
Holy
has
crap!
yeah,
Like this is just a sketch.
mm-hmm,
Like, and the amount of depth that's in it. Technically, I'm running at a 3000 by 800 pixel with a 300 DPI.
yeah,
So if I like, and this is at 59%. If I just kind of zoom in at 100, that's what it actually looks like at
mm-hmm.
100%. So you can kind of see more of the lines, and it looks more of a sketch.
It's
But
interesting, Mon.
that's
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry.
no, no, no. Go for it. Go for it.
Well, I was going to add to that since you're in the sketch phase of this tree. Um, every single learn to draw book has always started with like a pencil sketch, and I noticed that you'll have like a circle and a line. You don't need to do that, but I'm just saying like it doesn't start off looking like like it's actually going to look. It just starts
Hmm.
off with like a bunch. It looks like you're almost like you're scribbling, but what you're doing is you're creating the texture, and I can see you're making the spaces, and I just saw like I've been studying this a little bit as you do it, and I mean, you already had the outline of that within the first like 2 minutes. Like I noticed that did not take long at all. I was like rather impressed by how fast that came out. And the rest of the time, you've been augmenting, adding shading, and adding, like throwing the roots, and then very very nicely. It's very interesting though. Like I just like it. Are you? Is that about right? Have I described that fairly well? That you get the bones of your project to start. I hope I'm using the right term, but and then it just grows from there like a tree.
Yeah. And that's. And you want to hear the funniest thing that I have learned? You want to hear the first thing I've drawn
Mm-hmm.
ever? Like this is as a kid. You're looking at the first thing I ever used to draw.
Trees.
Trees. Always
Hey.
drew trees. But my mother was like, "Why are you fascinated with the trees?" And I finally gave my mom an answer because she just got fed up and was like, "Why is it so edgy and dark?" And he's like, "Why do you have them dead? Why not give them life?" A dead tree shows more detail than a living tree because you can see what it's been through
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
before it reaches its end stage, after it reaches its end stage. And my mom's like, she thought to herself, and it got deep because, and that's what life is.
Yeah.
That's us growing. That's with anyone aging.
Yeah.
When you get to that point, your body shows what it's been through over the years. And my mom just started realizing, like, oh fuck. And then she just like kind of, her mood went from like it was a shift of her mood. Like that's how serious it was for her because she started realizing because now she started thinking about herself when someone says those things in a way they explain something it makes you think of what you've actually been through
Yeah.
versus what you think you've been through.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating perspective. It really is, and I can even see just this is and folks. This is not even like the official drawing yet. This is just the warm up drawing, but it already shows so much, right? Like you can already see like this, like as you mentioned, the proverbial and even the actual scars that this tree has had in its lifetime.
Been through it's been
Yeah,
through its ages, it's been through hell.
it's been through happy times too. You can see you can see like achievements and accomplishments, but trauma, like you can see trauma on the edges of this tree. Like
Yeah,
it's
like for like with this tree, like
hmm
you can just that's a major trauma. And
yeah,
that's like at its tip top growth.
yeah, yeah,
But like with that trauma though, you can kind of just look like it grew back at
Yeah.
one point.
But
It tried growing back, and then it just like that.
so just to run back to like the way you sketch something like this, because you could just draw the basic outline of the tree to start, but do you have that in your head already as you do it, like what it's going to be like? Because it seems like what it seems like the process here is you kind of start with light sketch marks, right? And it just kind of creates the it creates the edges and so on.
So
What does that do? Like, what is the advantage of going that route rather than just like
remember
doing
when I
solid
told
lines?
you a while back, I used drawing as a way to express my emotions,
Right. You're right.
especially when I'm in my dark states.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in my lowest states, the first thing I would always draw trees.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So when you draw these twisted things, it kind of, for me, when you look at the artist and look at me and what I've been through and and basically when I draw these trees, it allows me. Trees are so free form.
Right.
A lot of people don't see it until I explain it. Trees are so free form that you can go into any direction you want, and it works as a tree in such an artistic way. And for me, a tree can show many different emotions, just like how someone can show a different emotion with their body. Same with a tree. You can
Yeah.
tell when someone's in pain is when they show like the darkness of the tree, the damage it's going through, the fractures, all the minor details. And then there's at this one point where there's a light at the end of the tunnel, you would see some form of that there.
Yep. Yep.
With me, for this tree, when you start, and the crazy part is, and this is where like music becomes like a massive player in artistic value, especially for people who draw.
Right.
Sometimes, whatever music you're listening to, the mood of that music will reflect what you draw.
Hmm.
And that happens to some people.
Yeah.
It happens to me a lot. I will get carried away in my own music, and then in reality, I'll just reflect what I drew. And that's the crazy part.
Do you think that applies to everybody? Do all people get influenced by music when they draw?
Oh my gosh, I guarantee you, like,
Mm-hmm.
90% of the people are influenced by music. Music is a massive influence for
Yeah.
art, and it just shows in movies as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have music in there, like empty mindedness for me as an artist, I can't imagine not having
It's so true. Like music is absolutely
because
Yeah.
it can shape a mood. It can shape it can literally shape a mood
yeah.
based on what's going on in a movie,
Mhm.
or it can shape a mood on what you're drawing. It can shape it can really just shift and shape completely in what you want and what
Yeah.
entirely you're expecting, and it can turn into unexpected turns. Like there were times where like some moods I would literally like. Second, seems as I am having. Jeez.
Oh, no problem. Well, let me read a comment as you sort that out. Bean says, even good events cause stress, and stress is traumatic for humans. Ah, the philosophy of art.
Absolutely. The philosophy of that is some people use it as an sprite way of expressing themselves when they really can't. The same with music.
Yeah.
And that's the creativity of all the genres that we have. It's the creativity that we get. It's the creativity that we have. It's designed to make us feel an emotion or express an emotion or get involved with that person's emotion. So we understand what's going through them when they did that.
Yeah.
What's going through them during that time.
It's remarkable. You've really hit that on the nose, Mond. Like, I have noticed that more and more over the last 2 years. Like, people I know, who are on Twitch and releasing original music. Now that I actually know them from streams.
I don't
I
understand
can
what music they make.
exactly, and it
Opened your
really
eyes to
it.
like rap.
Oh, absolutely, and it's amazing to just like hear the cuts that come out, and it's specifically like if it's ambient or if it's well, it doesn't really matter. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be any specific genre, but you can see and feel more of them in the music they make when you get to know them, like outside of just hearing the music, and it gives you a
Absolutely.
better appreciation for what's released.
So there is a song that kind of rings so heavily in my head every time I play it. It just goes so hard for a lot of people, and when they listen to it and what it's the message behind it. Um, I've heard of the artist Days of the New.
No, I'm sorry to say I have not. No, but
So Days of the New is surprisingly an older band. He was grunge music, so it was back in the
okay.
days grunge, but it wasn't like grunge music as in like guitars stuff like that. It he used a Travis Meeks was a wonderful artist, but he always had struggles and he had his own demons. One of those demons was addiction.
Oh, okay.
So
Now, oh, I was just gonna say like if I would have
yeah,
cautioned
no,
if you were
I was
playing a
moving stuff
video.
around so
Like
I can.
okay, okay,
Oh
okay,
yeah, no, no, I wasn't gonna play video. No, I was
okay,
kind of
okay.
shifting my stuff around.
Okay, no
So
worries, no
don't
worries.
worry.
Okay, okay, okay,
Don't
okay,
worry.
okay.
But the song "Dirty Road" kind of explains a lot. Like it's like, hey, this shit's rough. This shit's always gonna be fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, at the end of that road, even though it's gonna be like it's dirty, it's fucked up, it's rough, you'll always find a way out of that road into a clean, clear, open, beautiful path laid out for you. Like the very first lyrics of that song, like funny enough, I am actually listening to it while I draw this.
What a small
So
world.
it's I've waited to say so long to the shame that owns you. Your limits are bound. But there is more to be found inside of you. Give it some time. The voices seem heavy. I know this. If you play by your hour, it's where you begin, not where you will end
Mm-hmm.
today. Basically, if you don't take that chance, and you have a limit, but there is a bound limit, but there's also an unbound limit to once you've walked that path, because you know what to experience and know what your next path is, because that shit can stray off at any point. And that's where my beliefs came in. Is I'm Wiccan, and we believe in the craft. We believe in having these threads of fates drawn for us. But I picked up tarot a bit ago, and now I kind of understand what tarot is for and the philosophy behind it and why it's there now. It's not there to tell you the future. It's there to show you an options. It's almost like a mathematical probability of what could happen. But there's always the complete opposite of that to happen. And that's the real philosophy behind it.
Right. It's
So,
interesting. I didn't know you were into tarot cards. That's interesting.
absolutely. I picked it
Yeah.
up during the time I was in my transitional phase of my
Mm-hmm.
transition of homes. I picked it up because I wanted to try it for a while,
Yeah.
and I've always had it on my like in the back of my mind. And then one of the people who were there that did tarot as well was like, you should really pick it up. Like that shit just there's something with your like energy that's wild,
Yeah.
nomadic. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm like, you know what? Why the hell not? So I picked up cards, and then I've picked up my first card deck, which was the Rider deck, which is the first deck you normally any tarot ever were. And then I was browsing around, like looking at tarot decks, and then there was a deck that I got called to, and that's the thing is, you don't pick the deck picks you. That's the rule. And when I saw this deck for the first time ever, I'm like, this deck, I want this. Like, it's an instinct. Like, I need this. That's the impulse that you're looking for. That's the impulse that you're actually looking for. The deck is calling to you, not you're calling to the deck. Because you have to feel it. You're not like, look at I want this. No,
Mm-hmm.
you have to feel that this is the right choice. And I bought this deck and it was one of the best choices I've had because I've called like when someone came to me and asked, "Hey, can you do me tarot reading?" And like, "Are you sure?" And I always make a guarantee is like, "Hey, before I give you a reading, please don't feel called out. This is just a probability. We don't know what this happened. It just gives you options." Type of deal. I always got kind of get that designated statement, stuff like that. And it was great. It was funny that happened. And every time I do a reading, they feel extremely called out, but like very like it hit. It's like the it hit the head on the nail perfectly, like what they were looking for, all the time, and it was weird. And some people who like I had a friend that was there was like, I've seen your tarot. I don't. I like. I'm like. Hey, like I'm good. I don't want no fucking demons. I'm like, oh no, there's no demons in it. It's like, yeah, no. I don't. It's like,
That's funny.
I have my reasons. Like that's completely fair. And some people are very scared.
Well, I can understand that.
Like I had one
Yeah.
that, yeah, I had one that was very scared, and
Mm-hmm.
I like put their mind and body, like their entire mind at ease. I'm like, look, it's okay if you're scared. It always happens. Trust me. And it's fine. That's fair. It's completely real. It's that feeling, that emotion is real, and you're allowed to have that emotion. And when you feel like you can conquer that feel and you are ready to do that reading, let me know. 2 days later, he said I was ready. He was like, can I get my reading? I'm like, are you ready? He's like, yeah, I'm absolutely for certain I want to get a reading. So we did a private reading, and he was very satisfied for the result. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
Nice. All right. So let's see. We are. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of this preliminary sketch you've completed.
I think I feel like my hands warmed up enough.
All right. Yeah. It
I'll
looks like
give it
you're.
a couple more goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give it a couple more goes to see if my I think I'm ready. And when you know when I'm ready is when my mood kind of shifts. You'll
Yeah.
see me like kind of picking up pace. Like for me, I'm shifting through my playlists to find out like kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. Like that's why I sketch and try to find that
Mm-hmm.
that feel and just get that right moment, that kind of that type of energy I want to go for when I start a piece.
Right.
Nice.
I am very much firmly a believer in the value of warming up for anything.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, that's important. Like
I,
as an artist,
yeah.
in general, you need to warm up. It is so important to warm up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It just makes sense. Like when you're moving your hands, you're drawing. It needs time to really feel like it's right, and it's
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And that's even not just your hand, your arm. Because what you're
yeah,
doing is you're warming it up not just your wrist, your arm. You're warming up everything.
yeah,
Like before I came in here, the reason why like I think we were in call for a bit for like audio and sound check,
hmm,
but I told him, well, I gotta go up and get up. I gotta get up, grab my food and stuff. At the same time, in my hand was a stress ball, so I can warm up my hand because I want to at least get those muscles stretched out and ready to go. I
hmm,
was like, all right, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to knock one out. Try to get it done and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's a simple thing. Like right here, like as like I was talking about damage, this wouldn't be perfect. This little branch right here would not ever be perfect. So we'll just keep going, keep going, keep going.
hmm.
But it's never gonna be perfect. What about these pens though? These tips is you can make lines and just kind of show where the
Yeah.
you know, just-
There they go.
there
Pretty
we
good.
go. It's all coming together now.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's all together.
I like it. Okay, so yeah, keep it rolling. I'm just gonna go take a quick bathroom break. So feel free to chat
Sure,
with
sure.
everyone in chat.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be right back.
All right.
Although before I go, I do want to mention like how like yeah, you really, it does look like you really warmed up nicely, like based on what I'm seeing
Oh
here.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay.
I am. Ooh. Go. It's better.
Okay, how we doing?
And I'm significantly warmed up.
All
So
right.
I'm actually gonna do a special thing because technically, from what she wanted entirely. So I'm gonna get more context once we actually do it because
Okay.
we're gonna be using this one
Okay.
because she wants the same exact thing, just things that have been changed. She wants some drastic changes. I mean, things are easier to change up, but so the person that we are doing is actually unfortunately no longer with us. And with that, Davey, are you okay with me talking about what I have planned and what I've had happened and what I have planned for
I let me
in
try to
probably the
maybe I
couple days.
can maybe I would do maybe I would maybe I could do it better maybe I could
Yeah, yeah,
flesh
you
it
could
out a
probably
little
do a better
better.
explanation.
Okay, yeah, that's probably what I would like to do.
Yeah. So
So yeah, so this is basically a tribute. In some ways, it would be a tribute um to a friend. I would say that who's no longer with us. I'm sorry to say. And I does that sound about right? Does that sound about
yeah.
reasonable? Okay. So in Mond, I think you have nothing but love and and honesty in your heart, and I think this is going to be a tremendous tribute. I think so. Now we can talk a little bit about what you're planning to do.
So with the following passing of my friend, who is a wonderful individual who I am probably gonna finally, since of her passing, I'm finally putting a name to her. Her name was named Shoku, which in Japanese was is eclipse. It's what she wanted, what she's gonna get. But for what we're making as a character right now, she wants basically she wants her character to be the daughter of Myosi, which is Mon Sumeriki. And she wants the daughter, and the weight and when she was born, and the reason why she was given that name because it's through a traditional sense, and how much like to give an idea of how much I developed this character and developed it, how who she is and what she is. Um, their kind in this thing, because in their lore and character development, they have tradition of given names or names during normally that circulate something that's lunar. For her, her daughter was born on a lunar eclipse, so she was given the name Noshoku. So, with that, um, she has a different birthmark. With her family, birthmarks can actually happen, or in any other kind, they give or given birthmarks. In this case, typically, Mon's birthmark was put on her ear, and they're a mix of and she's she's also a snow leopard, but they do have their kind has black scaleras as let me actually just make a layer at the top of everything else. So I got to give indication of what goes into development. So these are the black scaleras. So these are the scaleras right here, which are the black. Normally they're called the white of the eyes. Instead of they are black, but they're not fully black, like creepy black, but they're more so. Point at that sclera. So sclera, yeah, there it is. So that is that, and her pupils would be normal dilated pupils, which would be just this. Um, with goats, they have oval eyes. They have horizontal. Sheep just normally have dilated eyes like that. That's the difference. For birthmarks, they can either be here, 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 or typically as well, sometimes in males, you'll see them typically here. In the males, you'll see them here or on the thigh or on the back, on their center back right here. You know, in the typical areas or even here. So those are the typical areas that you would see their birthmarks and where they would be presented and who they are. And sometimes they'll actually, in rare cases, you'll get one here on their forehead. stated on the forehead is basically very rare, and for this case, she is um descendant of, well, Mond. So she does actually have spots, but it's very little. Since Mon is half snow leopard and half Monsafo or moon sheep, she only got partial spots. But for her, she's only going to have she's basically at that point a third. That's it. So the the parent, I guess the parent is still in the unknown, but they are a sheep as well, but they are not a Monschafa, they are a typical sheep, so they will have a little bit more um floof than the average person. She would still have the mane, she would still have her spots, but she would have a little bit more hair where there normally isn't. So probably the development of my thought process is like, well, she's got longer hair, so I'll make longer hair probably in the arms or in the legs. And I would normally
Hmm.
present those with tufts or longer lines. Um, you know, indications that she would have this, but since the direction where I want to go is a lot different. It can vary between person to person, and from what I was told and what she wanted, it wasn't as specific, so I could go completely artistic and completely change the direction of that as well. So in this case, I am going to be disabling my video, or not my video, but my
Your
VC face, which
your
is my
VTuber?
VTuber, so we can next.
Okay.
Yep. So to give it a little bit more power because this file alone is massive.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It's at 100 DPI, but like it does take a toll. The longer I have it up,
Is it
it does
because of the
take
layers
tolls.
that it would be using this much
Yeah,
power?
that's the reason why.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a reason
Okay.
why this works in a way. And to give an idea of how many layers there are, my computer's Explorer EXE has already froze.
Wait, no,
That's how
sir.
much it takes. That's how
Wow.
much it takes a toll. Yeah, that's to give an idea of the amount of resources. This is just one. It's already like it's flipping shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for later. I'm gonna throw that somewhere else. There we go. It's not saved. So as you can tell, like this is, you can kind of see like like my model is kind of freaking out because I'm also moving a lot, but it's also glitch. You can see it's like kind of having issues. It's trying to having a hard time to keep up. So, but some of these layers aren't even turned off. Some of these things are just there, but it takes a lot of my GPU and my CPU because it's a big file. You won't see that, but it's pretty big. I'm surprised this is at 100 DPI. Normally, when I
It looked like
work,
more, from just from
it's
looking at
100
it.
DPI.
Yeah.
Yeah, which funny enough, I have to change the resolution, which is crazy because I can. This is where it becomes concerning. So yeah, the convenient part about Steel Paint is it gives me the ability to change its resolution from, but you can see the size difference it goes up from. That's 350. That's 300. Three times the scale. I go five times. Whatever. Let's do. Cancel that. I don't want a 50,000
Oh, then your
resolution.
computer would have died.
Oh my computer would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, it would have been over.
So I'm gonna probably, normally what I normally push at is 600,
Okay.
but you can kind of see the size. Since I'm currently also scaling my screen, I'm gonna drop it down to at least 350. And now we wait. We play the game. There, that is the size. This is what I work with. But the
Wow.
normal, like the size and the
Hmm.
how slow it is. Like you saw how long it took for me to actually see how this long. The more I zoom in, And this is not 100%. That's 100%. But the crazy part is when I save this, it's changed drastically.
Huh.
Yeah. And the image quality changes, which I might do this to my own OC, update it. This is the color palette. I normally what happens when I pull references and stuff like that, I will literally to this palette, and then I would transfer that palette into the color mixer. And you can tell there's a mess of colors in there. So, actually just do a quick thing that I wanted to do while we're at it. Technically, they're not entirely white. This is where the weird part is. This is the crazy part. A lot of people with my kind or with my OC's kind, right? They're not entirely pitch white. They're actually considered the physical color term is called ghost white. Or sorry, yeah, it's ghost white,
Okay.
which is a certain weird color of hue. It's not silver, but it is there. So we're gonna go in here, grab that saturation, then there is some. I used it the other day. Oh, here it is. So here it is. I love this feature. This is probably one of my favorite things in the world. It's called the gradient map. So this is what it'll look like. Basically, whatever my item is. So let's say this is my base. This is my base colors for both the front and the back. I can literally go over here and then right click it, create a new correction layer and a gradient map. So what this will do is, and this is probably the coolest way to make things really pop out, and just have that crazy effect. So drawing color to solid color. That's the drawing color to solid color. I'm gonna adjust this. So check that out. This did not select the right thing. I believe do I didn't select it right. Boop. And then, like I said, a lot of the times when you see these, when we've seen us do working on stuff, it's all trial and error. Some of the stuff kind of just works, some of it doesn't. It is kind of that one. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, look at this palette right here. This little source. This little color packet looks really nice.
Yeah, it's always fun to. And then if I'm doing this color, I just do drawing color. See what it did?
Wait, what happened there? It
Look,
changed again?
watch. Yeah, watch. Specify color. So now it's white.
Oh, it's changing. Oh, it just changes automatically. I see.
But no, so it's a gradient map.
Uh-huh.
So whatever blacks. So I'll actually swap to the blacks.
Oh, I get. Yeah. Because right, it creates the gradient based on how you
Based
set
off the level of deep, like
Yeah.
the darkness.
Yeah.
So for me, I want the whites. But I don't want this. I want that, but I actually want that. I want to desaturate it as much as I can with highest vibrance. I don't want it super, like, almost like bone yellow. Very, very close to like the color of like aged bone. And you've seen basically unbleached bone. Have you seen that before?
I
Have you ever seen,
probably
like,
have seen
bone?
that before, but I don't
Have you
recognize
seen
it.
You know, you
for
see
what
the
it
stuff
was.
in the museums, and it's just like that dirt,
Yeah.
like dirty yellow, and it's
Yeah.
unbleached. It's not clean.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because it's preserving the bone, kind of like that, and that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve, and Like I said, it's all about trial and error. So I can just do this, select that, and then accordingly. Getting there, getting there. Now I can do HSL. Here we go. Light. I love it. So my favorite palette, I don't use RBG, I use HSL. So I don't know what, if you know what HSL is. You know what
Well,
that
it's
is?
it's an alternative to RBG. Yeah, I mean, there's also the Pantone scheme as you were talking about, which is
So you got Lab, CMYK, RBG,
CMYK.
and
Yeah.
hex code and HSL. So the
So
difference between yeah, difference between this RBG and Lab and stuff like that, HSL means hue, luminance, and saturation. So you can tell like I'm messing with the luminance and the saturation. I'm not just adjusting the hue. So you also have hue, saturation, value. A lot of people use HSV. I typically either use HSL or HSV. I love HSV because that's what I learned in school is hue, saturation, and value, and not the other way around. Pretty crazy, but it's pretty cool at the same time. Well,
so
more
the
yellow.
L must be for luminance, right?
Yep, luminosity.
Mm-hmm.
So how bright it is,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And then you got saturation, how saturated the color can be.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will swap to. You can see how the whole when you do HSL, see how HSV changes where it's at, which is this. This is the standard value. When you look at HSL, you ever notice that there's the darkest. That's the most saturated, and this is its saturation. So I can literally go up here. Okay, you notice it changed slightly darker, but it's pretty
Hmm.
cool.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I've always enjoyed like messing around. I think getting there. Saturate this one. Oh yeah, that's it right there. That's what I wanted. Like I said, it's just messing around with things and just fiddling with it ever so slightly. It's not immediate, and the cool part is, well, I love how this is. I adjust it even more, so I can adjust it even further. I can still go. I can actually go back in here
Mm-hmm.
and readjust it myself. So if I wanted this specific color, I just grab this one. Okay, that's a color I like, but that's not the one I typically highly would like. You know, so I would go to here and go to multiply, and then go. So, and I can adjust how specific I want it, and that's what I get. So now she's got her tones, the stuff that I wanted. This is the colors I wanted to adjust her on, and that's it. There you go.
Awesome. Look at that.
So it does make adjusting colors easier,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you make a gradient map for that color. You can do it with any other color. You can do it with all the flats. Shit, I
Right.
can even do it with the horns over here. See these little bands?
Yep.
Or the spots not so much, but let's do my hair. Her hair, which is a little more down here. This is it right here. There it is. This is her hair right here. Right click, new correction layer, do another gradient map. But you notice how the color changed drastically. Let's do
Oh, it did. Yeah. Much more
yeah.
saturation.
So let's
Yeah.
do a dark gray.
Yeah.
But you haven't noticed. But that's because I did. You notice that how quickly it changed things. Crazy, right?
Ah,
So
yeah,
I
it
can do white to
is.
black. Yeah. So it actually has a little bit more dark color. But I'm gonna go back in here and go to multiply. Bring that down. Just a little bit. Go back in here. So I actually have the value that I want. Bring this back to black. Like this is where I take of color. Advantage of that. Bring it up.
Yeah, I think you still want to get the accents of the. You still want to get like
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
deep.
Like I
Yeah,
said, like gradient maps are important.
yeah.
Now you can just get that luminance of what you want.
Right,
Really
so
just
that you
put this
don't lose
back
the
to
texture
normal.
completely, because like
Yeah.
that's a really good hair
Like if you
texture.
notice, like look at the gradient map. Like
Yeah.
if I put it to normal, now the color looks presentable. It's kind of like
Right.
now you can adjust it to what you want entirely. Like I
Yeah.
want it almost to a cold black. That's it right there. That's what I want.
Yeah. All right.
Look at that.
That's
And
shabby.
say we could also do it to the horns as well. These ones right here.
Mhm.
Right click
Okay.
it. Correction layer, gradient map. And you notice that everything has changed.
Right. Right. Now you take it out, and it's like boom, like all that
Yeah,
text layer.
if I
Those.
cancel it. Yep.
Oh wow,
But
that's.
the fun part is, yeah. So I went back. The
Mhm.
fun part about this, and this is where it becomes like when you group things. So if I'm making a correction layer and I only want it to this specific layer, specifically that one, I'll make a group, and then I'll go in here and I would right click this layer and then make the correction layer within that. And you have noticed it only selects that specified layer, right?
Okay.
But you notice that the horns, everything just looks like it fits
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go back into this one. Select that one. Bam. Apply. Back to normal. And you can see the darker tones on here again, and then just the tones what I want it to be. To darker.
Yeah. And if any of you are watching tonight and have any questions about what Mon's art at the moment, and some of the nuances here, some of these color designs, some of these what would you call this? The color schema is how I would describe it. The different standards.
So there's ways you can explain it, ways you can talk about it. In reality, there we go. That's what. This is a thing that actually is learned from everybody else, which is called color theory. And I've learned color theory, so I kind of can see the differences between those colors,
Right?
And what it would look like compared to everything else. Like on your monitor, it may look completely different. My monitor, it looks drastically different. That's just where this is where my color theory mind goes to, is when I bought this monitor for the first time, my first thing I have ever did before I touched any piece of art is to color for color accuracy. I made this color corrected. I color corrected my screen so it actually gives at the highest possible color correction and a color accuracy I can give without needing to push not needing to overly push myself. Once I have done that process, the colors just start popping, things start popping out better and showing significantly more.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
we're
me,
probably not going to see all of that on this screen tonight.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, you're not going to see
Yeah,
the Discord
there's
call.
a lot for me to do.
Yeah.
But these minor adjustments also go to the other design that I'm using.
Okay.
I'm typically what I'm going to be doing, and you'll see me a lot in these situations where I will take a piece of art that I've already done, especially what I've done for myself, and use this body as a template. So I actually have some templates. So if I'm making multiple versions of this, I have a template. I can just throw somewhere else, and then I'll work. It helps me. It does make it a lot easier for me, especially pumping out stuff like, oh, I like this body type. Can I get this body type? All right, cool. I'll get you that body type. And if I already made that body type, I can just use that template and just do adjustments as I needed. Change the pose maybe a little bit, stuff like that.
Right.
That's how that is. And that's what makes it much more exciting. And people see it as like, oh, that's lazy. It's like, no, that's just efficiency. I don't want to close it. Gosh, no. just efficient. How efficient can I get this? How efficient can I push this? How fast can I pump this out within a timely manner so that someone would like?
Yeah.
Like the image that you see now would not ever be the same for someone else's. Like the pose might be different, or I might change how the arms are, the body type is, and slightly make it a little bit more of a wider figure or a bigger figure or a more toned figure. And that's all it is. But if they want that body type or that figure, then yeah, I would grab a template that I've already made a figure for, and then having to go through the process of like, okay,
No, I
well,
mean it's
I don't want to do this
it's
again,
a very clever move. I was just thinking the same thing. Like you saved yourself
having a
hours.
template on hand, yeah,
Yeah, you save
absolutely.
so much time by doing that. Yeah.
And then you see things called YCHs, which
Right.
I don't think you know what a YCH is or what it means.
No, I'm
You know
not
what
even
it
going to attempt
is.
to think I know that.
So a YCH is an abbreviation for your character here. And basically what they look like is they're just pre-made templates that they could sell in a pack. Certain set number of things. And what it is your character here basically essentially says this is a pre-set up base for whatever your character you want. So if you want, say, a cat to go with this, and that's what you want, and then we move it to what that is. Basically, it's just like a preview of what the image would look like at a finished paste, just with a blank canvas for your character. So everything else around it is finished, just not the character. And that's what would be added.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's almost like a template design to show off, like, hey, I'm doing a YCH. This is what it looks like. If you want it, you can buy it, and it's a set price. And those ones are very set prices. That's it. You don't have to pay for any more, much less or more. The price that you get is the price that it is, and you're still getting that same quality art piece, but with your character instead. It's just it's more of a set prices, and that actually gives. And this is a market that's been out there for a while, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's that's our biggest profit margins too. You know, I like if I do like say Pride during like Pride Month, and I just open up a Pride YCH, and you'll see it. It's just a template, just a pre-made template, and it's just ready to go. You know, I may not like have sadly in 2 hours has passed by, but I kind of explained like my majority of my art process and how I get things
Oh,
out,
absolutely.
get things rolling, and
I
that's
think.
my biggest thing.
Oh, absolutely. I think you really laid the groundwork really nicely, and from here, there's not much left. Well, at least I don't think there is. Like it seems like you've
No,
got
there's
it.
not gonna be much left.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what
So pretty good.
what she's wanting is exactly I want the daughter version of Mon. I'm like, are you sure you want? I even asked her, I was like, are you sure you want to do this? And this is like 2 years before she passed
Right.
away. I was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah, I want to see what you come up with. And so does that mean I have artistic freedom to what she wants? I was like, yeah. And I asked her, I was like, well, I have to ask you an important question. Who's the dad? I was like, I haven't thought that far. I said, you have to, because it also makes sense.
Yeah.
And she said, and the crazy thing is, like, why don't you keep the dad a secret? And I know the person, and I said, well, I still gotta know. And she told me, but that's all hush hush. I will never, I don't know, that's a promise I'm gonna keep.
All right.
No one will figure out the
I
dad.
won't. I'm not going to be the one that depression.
I'll let people guess. I'll let
That's
people
fine.
guess
That's
it.
fine. That's fine. Um.
Hey, that's the fun part about stuff. That's always the fun part.
Yeah.
That gets your creator just like, who's the dad?
Well, it makes it
Cool,
fun.
but
Right. It almost adds
you know,
to the. It adds to the lore, doesn't it?
yeah,
In
it
a
kind of
way. Yeah.
gives like, it makes people yearn for like, what is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What could it be?
Yeah.
Type of stuff.
Okay. So let's see. I guess we're down to roughly 5 minutes left. So, anything else you want to bring? You want to get into before we go our separate ways tonight?
Yeah. So, as you all know, that yes, we did this little segue. This thing. I'm also here to promote that on Friday I'll be raising money for, for the Trevor Project, and that's going to be going on for at least a month. It'll be for a whole month. I'll be shifting my funds and raising money for a Trevor Project. We don't know who the Trevor Project is. Basically, their whole goal is to have safe space for people who are in the LGBTQIA plus community, and offering those trans helplines, those trans lifelines, people who are in dire need and who can't like give that community a safe space to that for the needs that they desperately need, and offering help for trans youth, not only just trans youth, but everyone, like even LGBTQIA plus youth. And it's important that like cases, more and more cases come out today, like people who are gay, bi, lesbian, all of them, and that's why stuff here out in California kind of blew up. Is because a lot of our community is part of that community. And they're realizing like, okay, we gotta fix this. So it is a wonderful thing that I'm wanting to do, and it is something that I've been yearning to do. I've been wanting to do for such a long time. So look forward to that. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm also really excited to do this is my first ever charity stream. So
well, that's exciting. Yeah, and I'm excited for you, Mond. I'm proud of you too. I think we're wishing, we hope you have a wonderful fundraising effort on Friday, and I'm excited. It'll be interesting to see what's to come over on that stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing people there and showing some support. Honestly, I'm excited. Like I said, and thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely, and thank you
coming out and just hanging out, showing what I could do.
Absolutely, 1,000% glad to do it. Thank you for joining us tonight, Mond, and certainly very kind of you to join on short notice as well. Folks, this link is in the chat. If you want to follow our friend Mond Samurki, Friday, you will catch Mond raising funds for the Trevor Project. That sounds like a great cause. I think a lot of folks on Twitch are familiar with that project too, so yeah, all but good things.
I might be selling it a little bit short, but it is always it's one of the things we get.
Oh, for sure. That's
what Twitch is all about.
1,000%, yeah, 100%. So, Mond, thank you again, and I hope the rest of your creation goes well, and we're glad to get some updates over on Discord if you have them. So, thank you so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you'll probably see it on Friday actually, because I'll be showing it off.
Oh, of course. So yeah, one more reason to go check out the stream on Friday. Did you mention the time yet, or is that to be determined?
That's to be determined. I'm probably gonna post it in my Discord or on Twitter.
Okay.
No more set time. So
very good.
Expect that probably tomorrow, because it is after that be on Friday.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll let you go. Thanks again, Mond. I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor.
You bet, Mond. Anytime. Take care, my friend.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Mond.
Bye.
No. Yeah, I'm saying goodbye to you guys too. Goodbye. I'm out of
here. Yeah, I know we're done here. But screw mini golf. Y'all get to deal with it. I'm done here.
I'm out. All right. Thank you. You bet. All right, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back with golf with your friends. Everyone, stay with us. Thanks so much, Mond.
Yeah, no problem.
Those of you watching our VOD on YouTube, we will see you soon. But you can also catch the VOD for our golf stream elsewhere on the Sandwich Show channel. But for those of you on the YouTube VOD, we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Everyone else on Twitch, we'll be right back.